Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Spiritual Noob. Today, we're going to do a pick a card reading on what is blocking you from finding love. So, we're going to do a little bit of a love reading today. Um, just I need to say that I don't totally love readings because I think we can get too caught up in the I want to find my one type of energy, right? Um, so my intention for my readings are for healing, right? What do I need to heal in order to manifest what I want in my life? So today we're looking at what may be blocking you from finding your true love. Not when is your true love coming in, not what is he going to look like, how much money is he going to make, all those things. But if you are truly trying to find love and you're having a hard time, why is that? Right? Because the universe is abundant. We are creators. I believe that we should all be able to find what it is we're truly looking for in life. It's a journey though. And whenever you're truly wanting something and having a hard time seeing it manifest in your reality, there are probably blocks there, or it's not the right timing, like whatever the case may be, right? So we're going to look at what blocks may be there that are keeping you from finding true love, if that is what you're looking for, is that if that's what your intention is. All of that said, we are going to jump right into it. Please, before we do, please like my video, share my video, subscribe to my channel. We have 3 oracle cards here. I will put all the decks I use in this video in the description box below, so you can check that out. I'm also going to show you the tarot cards we're using. So for pile number 1, we will be using the Modern Witch Tarot. Pile number 2, we will be using the Queer Tarot. And pile number 3, we'll be using the Black Tarot. I pre-shuffled the cards. I do have a little mini tarot deck, Rider-Waite tarot deck on standby if we need to do any clarifications. But please, I'll give you a few minutes to pick your pile, and then we'll get into it. Hello, welcome in pile number 1. You chose the Maya Astro card, which I've actually never used this deck, by the way. And also the Modern Witch Tarot right here. So let's check out your oracle card. You have full moon. So full moon, the moon always reminds me of like receptive energy, intuition. And the full moon specifically is a cycle of the moon where things kind of come to completion. You're kind of ending a cycle. It's like the end of a pregnancy where the woman is kind of like fully ready to give birth. Her belly is rounded. So it's the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, right? Let's see what the book has to say about this though, because I want to kind of give the book's interpretation if I can find it. Okay, full moon. During a full moon, the moon is opposite the sun and is completely illuminated in sunlight. Therefore, from a Western astrological point of view, the moon and the sun are on opposite sides of the zodiac during a full moon. And so there can be a challenging moment or an intense discharge of energy. Seen in this way, the female receiving yin, moon energy, and the male, active, young, sun energy, also opposite each other energetically and lead to or also oppose each other energetically and lead to a very strong energy potential. Often, however, the full moon is also an energetic time event that brings abundance as it occurs at the end of the lunar cycle, in which we reap what we may have sown at the last new moon. For better or for worse, during this phase, things in our lives are allowed to mature and blossom. For the Maya, the energy of the full moon corresponded to the principle of the divine feminine, healing, creativity, and fertility. So that's interesting. There is more. I'm not going to read on forever and ever. But that's interesting. So yeah, I did talk about the abundance, the fullness of the full moon, like reaping what you have sown. Also, what was interesting there in the context of a love reading and what may be blocking you in love is that, you know, the sun is the moon is the divine feminine energy. The sun is the divine masculine energy. And so if this is a heterosexual relationship, let's say, it doesn't have to be a heterosexual relationship. I don't know why I was pulled to just say that because divine feminine and divine masculine can exist in all of us. And in every relationship, there is a divine feminine and a divine masculine in that relationship. However, I feel like this is a relationship where the divine feminine and the divine masculine are kind of like in opposing energies right now, right? So whoever is reading or whoever is listening to this reading, I feel like you have done some work on yourself. Like you are reaping what you have sown with your energy. And that's why you may be listening to this reading, right? It's like, what more blocks do I need to uncover in order to find my true love? Well, if you've kind of manifested a certain person in your mind or a certain energy, they may be in an energy where they're still working out some kinks in their personal energy, right? They're on opposite sides of the spectrum. So where you may be kind of ending a cycle of healing and starting to see the effects of positive energy entering your life, they may be in a phase of their life where they're kind of at the beginning of that stage, right? They're still dealing with, they may be still in a dark night of the soul type place in their life. So I would say for you, just keep doing what you're doing and, you know, keep trying to, you know, spread light in the world and spread love in the world and keep working on your own, because there's always more things to heal. The moon cycles continuously, they cycle through this full moon, new moon, right, phase. They're in these phases constantly. So it's like you're never done healing. You're never done with this cycle. You can be done with like a particular cycle. Like, and when it comes to healing this particular thing in my life, I have completed that cycle, right? But there's always new cycles to complete. So continue working on your own completion of cycles, healing your own energy. And you may have to wait a little bit until your counterpart is ready to receive you. So that is what I'm getting from this oracle card. I haven't looked at any of the tarot cards, so let's look at the tarot and see what's going on. So let's look at the overall energy of your current love life. Seven of Cups, there's clarity, right? So maybe one of the things that maybe you've healed is finding out what you really, or like understanding what you really want out of a relationship, how you really want to date, right? What are your red flags when you see them, your deal breakers? Because you've been hurt in the past, right? You've had these experiences with people that have put you in an energy of like, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore, which is why I think that that is what puts you in a healing process to begin with, right? So you've gone through the things that have put you in a place that said, I have to heal this within myself, right? So you're now at a place where you're like, okay, I've kind of been doing the work. Where's my person? Where's my person? Bring him to me. Bring him or her to me. So how do you feel about love? How do you feel about love in general? You're done. You're done with love. This may be a person. I do this sometimes because I'm not really the type of person who's like, oh my gosh, I want to find my person and I want to get married and like all these things. Like I don't dream about my dream wedding and all of those things. Um because I've been through all this stuff, right? I have clarity, like this reading could be for me, right? So sometimes I click on readings like this because I just want to see. I just want to see what my energy is looking like when it comes to love. And it's so funny when I get readings that are like, yeah, you have this other thing going on over here. I'm like, yep, see, right? See, I knew it. I knew that's what my energy was looking like, right? And it's always kind of surprising when I get readings that are like, yeah, your someone is coming towards you. Um, so yeah, I feel like you may be a type of this collective, maybe a collective that's very similar to me, where it's like, yeah, I'm not necessarily looking right now. I'm not necessarily looking right now, but if I were to find the right person, I wouldn't close the door on that. And you're kind of like wanting to see where's my energy at. So let's get another card for that. The Fool. So yeah, this is full moon going into a new moon cycle. The Fool is kind of like the new moon. So I mean, this is about like you're open. It's just kind of what I just said. Like you're open to someone, to the possibility of someone coming along. You're not necessarily holding your breath though. It's kind of like the energy that I'm feeling from that. So let's look at how you feel about yourself. Ooh. Ace of Wands reverse. That's interesting. So Ace of Wands reverse, maybe you feel like you're not necessarily sure how to find the person you're looking for. Like you know what the red flags are. I swear, it's like when I say this reading could be for me, I really mean it because I know what my red flags are and I feel like that's all I ever run into is the red flags. Um it's like it would be lovely if I ran into like a slew of people who kind of like were what I was looking for. Um and it's kind of like I'm in an energy of like, let me just keep focusing on me and keep planting myself in different positions. And maybe when I plant myself in those positions, I'll be around more the type of person that I'm looking for. So it's like, what do I have to do that? How do I do that? What actions do I need to take to do that? And that's not always super clear to me. Yeah, Two of Wands. So this is about how you feel about yourself. Two of Wands reverse. It's like I'm not sure what steps to take or what plans to make to bring in the kind of relationship that I'm looking for. Let's see. How do you feel about the resolution of your past relationships? Interesting. Ace of Pentacles reverse. Like, like maybe there's still some baggage there. Maybe things weren't, things didn't manifest the way that you wanted them to. Maybe there's still a little bit of baggage. Five of Pentacles reverse. But I do feel like there's been some healing, right? There's coming out of a mentality of lack. It's like I've kind of worked on the issues that make me feel like if I had any feelings of unworthiness or whatever, I've worked through a lot of those things. So I've come out of those things. But at the same time, the actual resolution of the relationships at the time that they ended, um, sounds like it wasn't necessarily the prettiest, which is pretty true for all relationships when they end, right? It's like, I think it takes two very mature people to come out of a relationship and not feel like it's a little bit messy. Let's see. What advice does Spirit have for you regarding your love life? So, in terms of advice that Spirit has for you is to be positive, to have a positive outlook, right? Because sometimes when we go through things that show us a lot of red flags, we can be too stuck on like, soon as we meet a person, it's like, oh, you have kids? No, I'm crossing you off the list. Oh, you have whatever, you don't have, I don't know, you don't make above this amount of money a year. Like, I've heard those being standards for certain people. Like, certain people I've heard say, like, if a guy doesn't make over $250,000 a year, like, I'm not dating him, right? Like, things like that, right? And this could be for men and women, whatever, whoever you are and whatever your personal standards are. I think what Spirit is saying is not to lower your standards, but to look through the standards. Like, look to the heart and soul of a person, right? Because what they have in the world is not always necessarily like it's not always a mirror or reflection, a true reflection of who they're going to be in a relationship. And it's fine to have certain standards, but at the same time, we don't want to like turn people away because they're like not meeting our standards. And also, if we have certain standards for other people, are we meeting those same standards for ourselves, right? Are we reflecting back to them what we want them to reflect to us? What will be the outcome for you regarding love? Let's look at the outcome. I had quite a few extra cards come out, so I'm just... So you have the Strength card reverse, Three of Wands reverse, King of Pentacles reverse, and the Magician. I think it's going to take patience. I feel like this outcome of love coming in, I don't see it happening super soon, right? Because I feel like with the Strength card reverse, I think that this is about having strength when it comes to patience, the timetable, right? Because sometimes we can want things to come in super quickly, right? Like, I've worked on all this stuff. I'm in this phase where I feel like my energy should be attracting in the person that I want, right? But we may not be in the right place. Even though we've done the work, we're in a good place, we're in a peaceful place. Maybe there is something else that Spirit is wanting to bring in for you that's going to help lead you. It's just like I was saying earlier, like, I live in a neighborhood personally, so I'll talk about myself because I'm the only one here. But I live in a neighborhood that's not like the greatest. It's not the greatest neighborhood. I work a job that doesn't make the greatest money. And it's not that you can't find your person under those circumstances, but perhaps the person that Spirit is wanting to bring in for you, like your perfect match or whatever, if you believe in that. Maybe there's a person for you that's in a different circumstance, that lives in a certain apartment building, right? It's like Spirit is waiting for you to decide that you want to get a new job that puts you around different people, or like you to decide that you want to get a new car, and maybe you'll meet somebody at the car dealership, or like there's something about the timing that's going to take some patience and some strength. Because Three of Wands reversed too. This is about kind of like not knowing. So you got Ace, 1, 2, 3 of Wands, all reversed. But the interesting thing is that 1, 2, 3 is a progression, right? There is a progression there, but they're all reversed. So it's kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the plan is, and I don't know where I'm going, right? That's what I would say about all three of those. But there is a progression. So like sit back in the receptive feminine energy of just realizing that like, okay, there is a progression here. The energy is moving me toward a person. I just don't know what it looks like right now, and I just need to sit back in this receptive energy and wait for it to come to me, right? I don't need to necessarily take any actions to bring that person to me. I just need to keep going about my life, and one day I'll meet the right person. And then you also have King of Pentacles reversed. So this might be, it's like when I was talking about, one thing I always say about the King of Pentacles reversed is that this is a person who can be like a little bit too materialistic. They're a little bit too in the earthly realm, too focused on earthly things. And it's like what I was saying about like a person who's like, I'm not going to date anybody who doesn't make at least $250,000 a year. Like, I'm not saying that to you, but I'm saying that that can be like a standard that you set for yourself that makes it hard for you to, it counts a lot of people out, let's just say. So when you're trying to manifest, it's not that, listen, I do believe that setting an intention for what you want to manifest for yourself, like ask for the sky's the limit, ask for whatever you want, right? But at the same time, just realize that if you're really like looking for love, really waiting for, so like, let me finish that statement. Really waiting for love to come in for you, it may take a little longer, right? So patience is needed, strength is needed. You can't, I feel like you can't have both attitudes of like, I really want to, the sky's the limit. I want to have exactly what I want. And also hurry up and bring it to me, right? You have to have a little patience, So that is all of your tarot cards. I'm just gonna, let's see what I want to go on. I want to pull some Ofrenda Oracle cards. And just see what comes up. I've never used this Oracle deck. It's kind of like a Lenormand, but it's got a few extra cards. I'll pull a few cards from here. Okay. And I'm going to look at them right side up. I don't know if they have reverse meanings, but we're not going to look at reverse meanings on the Oracle cards. I never look at reverse meanings on Oracle cards, by the way. Okay, the butterfly. So yeah, there's been a transformation. I feel like you have gone through a transformation, for sure. Gentlemen, see, I feel like whoever you're trying to bring in has some issues, because this card has a person who's like downing like a fifth or whatever. So it's not to say that this person is an alcoholic or anything, but I feel like this person has some issues that they need to work through, and that they're not done working through those issues yet. So it's like you kind of are waiting for their energy to catch up to your energy. I can't line these cards up for nothing. The Scythe. So, you know, this is about death, the ending of cycles. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So we also have the stars here. So the way I would read this without looking at the guidebook is it's like, I feel like this is about your partner. They're going through a transformation. They have some things that they need to heal with the star, and they need to end some cycles. Before they're going to be ready to come to you, they need to go through this whole process, and they're not there yet. That's kind of what I'm reading from that. So just keep going about your life. Realize that there is a progression happening. Keep putting yourself in different places. You know, not all willy-nilly, but when you have the intuitive nudge to get a different job, move, or whatever, when you feel intuitively guided to put yourself in a different energetic space, you may be helping to bring yourself closer to where that person is. Now, that being said, they're still going to have to go through this process of transformation, which is still going to take some time. But you are the magician, though. You are working the energy in a way that is bringing this person towards you. So keep doing what you're doing. This is all I have for you guys. I feel like this could have been reading for me. But I did enjoy it. Please, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I could use subscribers. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye. Welcome in pile number 2. You chose the Sacred Forest Oracle. See what your card says. Guardians of the Land, protection. Interesting. I'm thinking in terms of what may be blocking you from love. My first intuition, I'm going to look up the card, but my first intuition is saying like maybe you're protecting yourself too much, right? Maybe there's not enough trust. There may be some fear there where you're kind of like not really giving anybody a chance because you've been burned. Let's see what this says. You are safe. First words. You are safe. You don't have to overprotect yourself. These words seem to emerge from the land and radiate from the trees to echo in your soul. You hear these words again and again. The sacred guardians of the land are whispering to you, you are safe. You know that you are protected and cared for. You can feel tendrils of their loving energy wrap around you and embrace you. Their unleashed power cocoons you in safety. You are enough. You, just as you are. No matter what has happened or occurred in the past, the truth is that you are absolutely and unconditionally enough as you are. You are loved. You are cherished. Do not be concerned about outside forces and judgments and the judgments and expectations of others. You are protected in your own energy field. This card can appear when you need to take steps to protect your energy. While the guardians of the land will help out, you must also be responsible for your own well-being. Envision a protective shield around yourself and around your home. Spend time with people and in situations that uplift your energy rather than draining it. Interesting. So I feel like, you know, it's giving me the feeling of like a person who like maybe, I think this collective energy may have just gotten out of a relationship and really, really, really doesn't trust people. Maybe you were burned in your last relationship and there's a lot of baggage that needs to be worked through and a lot of healing that needs to be done. because it kind of sounds like maybe you don't feel safe in a relationship right now, which is fair. You know, I've definitely been there in certain times in my life too. So let's look at your overall energy, the overall energy of your current love life. You're hopeful. You're hopeful, but there's also an energy of like apathy. I feel like you're trying to come out of that energy. Like, I really want to get to the point where I want to be in a loving relationship again. And you're taking steps. You're kind of trying to learn, like, what do I have to do to find the right person, right? How do you feel about love? The Empress reverse, yeah, like, I don't necessarily feel like this is a group that's like super ready to be in a relationship right now. Like, I feel like maybe you just got out of a relationship, or maybe you're very scarred. Maybe you still have a lot of scars from previous relationships or your last relationship. Yeah, you're looking back on your previous relationships, and you're kind of seeing things for what it really was. This card reverse kind of gives me the energy of like if you've been in a relationship before, like say you were in a relationship and you felt like this person is perfect, like no one could say anything bad about this person, and then you get out of a relationship with them and suddenly you're like, oh yeah, they cussed out the waiter on the third date. Actually, the signs were there, right? It's like that energy. Um, let's see, how do you feel about yourself? Like, you don't have good judgment when it comes to dating people. You may feel like I always pick the wrong ones, right? Like, my picker is broken. And maybe you have a history of being in kind of toxic relationships where there was a lot of arguing and fighting, a lot of negative messages coming in for you, maybe a little bit of immaturity from your partners. How do you feel about the resolution of past relationships? You feel pretty good about it. You're like, man, I ended that. You know, there's a feeling of like, I don't know, maybe you're proud of yourself for not dealing with the immaturity, not dealing with the toxicity. But it's like, I'm kind of getting a feeling of, I'm kind of getting the feeling that it may be a repeating pattern. I don't know if I want to say that though. For some of you, it is a repeating pattern, right? And you may feel proud of yourself because it's like, as soon as they show me that bullshit, I'm gone, right? And you are good at that. You are good at like not dealing with it. For some of you, I feel like this is a longer term relationship where it may have been a struggle to end the relationship. And so it's kind of like when you finally ended the relationship, there's a feeling of like, there's a feeling of freedom, there's a feeling of release. You know, it's like, I'm finally not dealing with that anymore. So what advice does Spirit have for you regarding your love life? What advice does Spirit have? These cards are stuck together. You know what? Recognize when someone is doing the right thing for you, right? When someone is really trying to show you affection, because sometimes we don't recognize it. If we're not in the energy to receive love and affection, then sometimes we can't totally recognize it when we see it. Because this is, Six of Wands reverse is all about recognition, like um, being rewarded for, or being recognized for our achievements, right? And I feel like in this context, it's like maybe you're not always able to recognize others for the kind way that they're acting towards you, or maybe you're not able to find somebody who is going to act in a positive way towards you, to like really treat you the way you deserve to be treated. So really kind of look at yourself and look at the people you've dated and recognize what in those relationships was being mirrored to you, right? Because we can have a tendency to blame other people for actions that they, it's not that we're, it's not that they didn't do the thing that we blame them for, right? It's not that, but it's about looking at what they did, even if it was like horribly negative or whatever, and saying, what about me is attracting that energy? And it doesn't mean that there's like a negative aspect of ourselves, right? Like that, it's not that we, just because we're with a narcissist doesn't mean that we're a narcissist, right? But maybe we're over empathetic or empathic. I can never say that word correctly. Maybe we give too much to other people, and so we kind of become a target for narcissists. Start recognizing when people are really showing that they care, as opposed to the love bombing, gaslighting. Like, well, the gaslighting comes after the love bombing typically, but like start being aware of like those patterns in people, and be able to discern when a situation is truly genuine and when it's not. So what will be the outcome for you regarding love? That you're going to come out of this energy of pain and heartbreak. These cards are stuck together. There's going to be some kind of awakening. You're going to wake up to, you're going to wake up to like that discernment that I was talking about. Like maybe in the past you've had a hard time really truly discerning when people really care about you. And I think you're going to wake up to the actions and the games that people play. Like you're going to be able to kind of see when a person truly cares for you versus when a person is love bombing you, right? Yeah, you're going to be able to come out of this energy. I call this the shit starting card. You're going to be able to come out of this energy of like things always, they're always being chaos and conflict. You're going to be able to learn how to like walk away from that before it even starts. Put this here. This is Six of Swords reverse. These are just some extra cards that came out. So Six of Swords reverse is all about it's a resistance to moving kind of out of the chaos and conflict. So I was saying earlier in this reading that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, and I was talking about like the blame game that we play. When people do us wrong, or when relationships end, right? Instead of really looking at like how that relationship was a mirror for us to learn and grow and come out of that energy, right? We can get stuck in the energy of it's all their fault, like, all the time. And it's not that person, I can see some of you rolling your eyes right now because I get it. There's like a lot of situations where a person really was in the wrong, right? But we attract all of our experiences to us. There's a reason, there's a personal reason why we are going through the certain experiences that we're going through in life. And so really seeing how those experiences are reflecting something about us back to us. It's reflecting our shadow back to us, right? So until we get into a space of really being able to understand that, it's going to be hard to move out of this chaotic energy. And the moon, yeah, I feel like right now there's just some confusion about, well, how am I attracting this energy to me, and how do I fix it? Like, what do I have to do to come out of this? What do I have to do to move through this energy? And it really is just about recognizing, like, okay, I'll give you an example. Say I have gone from relationship to relationship, and it's a relationship that really, I talked about overgiving earlier. It's a relationship where I feel like I'm always being taken advantage of. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. I go from this person to that person to the next person, and I always feel taken advantage of, which is why there's that energy of protection there, right? Because it's like, I feel like I'm always giving my heart away, and my heart is getting smashed, and I'm kind of confused as to why this keeps happening. And it may be a situation that, like, when you were younger, when you were a child, you had to give to your, like, maybe you had a parent who was really needy. Maybe you had siblings who you had to take care of, and you were, I had a friend who was cooking at like the age of 13 for her whole family, and she was always the caregiver. And so when you're in that energy of like giving, 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 you can end up as an adult in situations and relationships where you're always overgiving, right? So figuring that out about yourself and ending that is how you end the cycle, becoming aware of it and then starting to heal it. I feel like this is a group that is like kind of early on in the healing process. Um, Also, I have to say that, like, my clients, when I talk to them about love and stuff like that, I always tell them, when you get out of a relationship, like, you met that person in a certain energy, and that's why you're attracted to that person. And when you break up with that person, give yourself time to heal. Give yourself time for your energy to kind of like settle into a new energy, because that is how you attract the person that you really want in your life. You want to give yourself a little bit of time between breakups. The probability when you're going from one person to the next, even if it's just, I was in this long-term relationship and I'm finally free, the sun card, I'm finally free. If you jump right into another relationship, they usually end up being a rebound relationship, right? We have words for it. That person ends up being a rebound, and it doesn't really last long because you were in an energy that attracted a certain energy that wasn't really meant to be long term. So you want to break up from somebody and really allow that energy to settle. And once that energy settles, then when you meet new people, new people will be in a different energy entirely. Let's pull some oracle cards. Oh, they're flying out. I'm going to take the ones that flipped over. This one did. That one did. Okay, so we have the clouds. Yeah, I feel like there's still a lot of sadness right now. I feel like you're not even totally over an ex, or over, like, your dating history. I feel like it's not totally healed yet. You're not totally over it yet. But you will be in the future with this Three of Swords reverse. Um, the snake. Be careful with your energy. It's like I kind of see here, there's a skull and there's a snake, like winding itself into the skull. And that just reminds me of like how people's energy can get entangled. So be careful with your energy. And that's kind of what this was saying up here too, with the protection. Realize that, so definitely you want to use your own discernment, right? But realize that like when you have physical relationships with people, doesn't have to be physical, but it's a little bit, the energetic tie can be a little stronger when it's a physical relationship, right? So when you're around people, their energy can rub off on you. Definitely when you're in a like a sexual intimate relationship, their energy can rub off on you. So like be really careful. It's like the snake is slithering through the skull and is totally intertwined in the skull. And it looks like the snake has more power over the skull than the skull has power over the snake. So be careful about that. Because it's hard to get out of an energy and into a new energy if we're allowing someone else's energy to affect us, right? Um, the jaguar. You know, this makes me think of like fractals of self because of all these little spots. I always say that like um the way I explain fractals of self is that like if you took a picture of yourself and then tore the picture up into tiny little pieces and then took pieces and said, this is the piece of me that was like abused. This is a bit, you know, in this way, abused in this way. This is the piece of me that was abused in that way. This is a piece of me that was abused in the other way. And you black all those pieces out. And then you put them all together and you see the picture of yourself again. There's going to be all these black spots, right? Where you've blacked yourself out. And that's what this jaguar is reminding me of. I'm sure that's not what this card means if I were to look it up in the book, but intuitively that's what I'm seeing. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done. There's a lot of integration of self that needs to be done before you try to move on to a relationship. So in terms of what's blocked, what's being blocked, that's what's being blocked, right? The integration of self. The skeletons. Yeah, this, you know what, this kind of reminding me of integration of self as well. It's like start enjoying all the parts of yourself, right? Even the parts of yourself that the shadow parts, right? That you don't necessarily want to expose to other people. Like learn to stop pushing that stuff down and learn to start dancing with all the aspects of yourself, right? And to truly enjoy yourself, because when you're in that energy of and truly enjoying yourself, um your energy opens up and becomes more inviting. So this is all I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope it was helpful for you. I will post the links to all of the tarot cards and oracle cards that I used in this video in the description box below. If you like this video, please like my video, share my video, and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome in. So this reading is about what is blocking you from finding love. So let's take a look at your oracle card. This is from the African Goddess Oracle, and it is Sacred Lust. Oh, man. Do you get a little lusty sometimes? Oh, wait. Let's look at this card number 26. Okay, Goddess of Sacred Lust, Egypt. This is Ketesh, I think. Element of fire. Ketesh, the mistress of the gods, is the Egyptian goddess of sacred sexuality, ecstasy, and fertility. Her two men, yes, are the fertility god Min and Mantu, the god of war. Katesha's guidance. You are an erotic creature. You have a divine right to experience sensual ecstasy. It is sacred to give and receive pleasure. Embodiment. You deserve to feel good. It feels good to feel good, so allow yourself to feel good. Lean into your sacred lust. Turn up your own fire and quench your thirst. Dance with pleasure. You daring to embrace your sensuality will set the world on fire. So it feels good to feel good. So that was a mouthful. That gives me a lot to think about. So, okay, so off the rip, when it comes to a block to finding love, maybe there is an over sexuality that you have. Maybe there's an inability to admit to yourself that you just like maybe you're not super committal, right? Like maybe you like having experiences with different people and you haven't totally admitted that to yourself, like you haven't totally let that be okay. Maybe you yeah, because it feels good to feel good. It's all about like I feel some shame in this, like maybe you feel wrong when you feel good, like maybe when you get into relationships and it feels too good to be true or whatever, maybe you back away from it because this card is telling you that it's okay to feel good, right? Um, so there's a couple kind of like angles that I see this from. And the other thing that I'm feeling, because I do know people who are a little over sexualized. Um, and I say that in the context of like finding a relationship. I would say that they're a little over sexualized. And sometimes that can come from trauma too, right? So like really be able to discern like because we store trauma in our lower three chakras, and that's also the area of our, the sacral chakra is like the area of our sexual vitality and like all of these things, right? And sometimes when we're a little over sexual, that can be like a sign that there's trauma there. So really be able to discern within yourself, do I have to feel good all the time because I'm kind of ignoring some traumas that I need to heal within myself? Or am I not allowing myself to feel good because of trauma? Because that can be another thing too. Not everybody is meant to be in a monogamous relationship, I don't feel. It's my personal thought. I think that you should be honest about not wanting to be in a monogamous relationship, but I do feel like there are some people that are not meant to be in monogamous relationships. And if you're that person, like have you admitted have you admitted that to yourself? And have you let that be okay? Have you said to yourself, it's okay that what I want is not that kind of breaks the mold, right? So think about that. Think about if you've been honest with yourself about love. So overall energy of your current love life. Temperance reverse, it's unbalanced. Ace of Pentacles reverse. You're not really manifesting what you want. See, with the Temperance reverse, I really do feel like I'm talking to a group of people who are a little outside the box in terms of like what you want when it comes to love, when it comes to experiencing love, right? And I would say that that's okay. I truly do believe that, but do you believe that? Do you believe that's okay? Because I think that like you may need to, because sometimes too, because we don't think that it's going to be okay for other people, this is where some people can tend to like kind of like not be truthful about what they want. because they feel like what they want isn't going to be accepted by other people, and they want to enjoy the love of other people, right? They don't want to be alone. So they feel like if I want something that like other people aren't going to be okay with me having, like I'll just like not be super truthful about it. Like that is some people's experience, right? So kind of figure out who you are in these scenarios that I've been talking about. Like, where do you fit into this? Are you a person that's that fully owns who you are and is okay with who you are? Do you want a monogamous relationship? Are you just enjoying other people? Like, and are you letting that be okay? Um, or do you feel like there's something wrong with who you are and what you really want? How do you feel about love? Two of baskets. So you want to be in a loving relationship. You want to have partnership. Ten of Wands reverse. But you want to unburden yourself. But I think going back to what I was saying, I feel like the burden may be trying to fit in with like a traditional idea of what a partnership looks like. And maybe you haven't been truly honest with yourself and others about what you want partnership to look like. And so it's been a little bit of burden to you because that creates a space where you're having to kind of lie to yourself and others about what you really want, right? And that's a burden. How do you feel about the resolution of your past relationships? Nine of Pentacles reversed. I feel like you feel lost from past. Maybe you did tell somebody. Maybe there was a situation where you told somebody the truth about who you are and what you want, and you lost that person. Yeah, Ten of Pentacles reversed. This is all about loss. This is about loss. Like maybe you got caught in a lie. Maybe you got caught in a lie, because I feel like this is a group of people who kind of like doesn't, when it comes to love and relationships, doesn't really fit the traditional mold. And because of that, there's a feeling of like not being comfortable being fully honest with other people. And so maybe there have been times where you've been caught in a lie and then you lost the relationship. All I would say is when you're true about who you are and the energy that you're sitting in, you will attract people who are sitting in that same energy. So I know it's kind of scary to be honest about who you are, especially when you feel like there's shadows there. But yeah, I think that there's a lot that comes from being honest about what you want. I may be also talking to people who, there may be some people in this group who are in the closet a little bit, that it's not about monogamy or polyamory or any of that. Maybe I'm talking to a group of people who is afraid to really open and honestly date the sex that they want. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Like maybe there's a fear. Maybe I'm talking to like a group of, there's a lot of kind of like proclivities that people have that go against the narrative. So I'm not gonna like pigeonhole it into an LGBTQ situation, but I do believe that there are people in this group who fit that mold. I think there's people in this group who fit a polyamory mold. I think there's people in this group who there's a lot of different things that go outside of the mold. So just be honest about who you are. Also, and I kind of said this earlier, is that sometimes we can be outside the mode because there's some trauma there. So really be honest with yourself about, am I this way because this is truly who I am? Or am I this way because there's some trauma that I haven't really healed within me yet that I need to look at? Let's see. What advice does Spirit have for you regarding your love life? You have the Devil reversed and the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, with the Devil reversed, there's some kind of, I feel like there's some kind of like baggage here that needs to be dealt with. Some kind of, you like things, you like things that aren't necessarily, and as long as we're talking about two consenting adults here, I really want to make that clear, right? That we're talking about two consenting adults here. If you with another consenting adult want to be in a relationship that's like not totally traditional in nature, just be honest about that, right? Come out of the closet with that, or heal whatever needs to be healed around that. And the six of Pentacles is about giving back, right? So it's like once you've healed that energy, then you can give to people what you really want to give to them. You can give to people what they really deserve, right? Yeah. What will the outcome be for you regarding love? We have sorry, these cards are kind of thick. I thought there was more than one. Knight of Swords. Yeah, so the outcome for you regarding love is that there's going to be a lot of messages coming in for you. There's going to be a lot of positive talk, positive self-talk, positive actions. It's going to be coming in well, not necessarily actions, but intuition, right? There's going to be a lot coming in quickly for you. I feel like this too is like about conversations. Like once you can be honest with your conversations with other people, it's going to feel there's going to be a lot of release there. There's going to be it's going to feel like an exhale. You're not burdened anymore. You're not holding this stuff in. Son of Baskets reversed. So this is Knight of Cups reversed. So this is about the outcome of this for you. So I think, at the same time that it's going to be a relief that you can be honest with people, it is going to not be easy emotionally, right? Because if you haven't been honest about who you are to yourself and others in the past, then you've projected an energy that attracted energies that weren't really aligned for who you are. So you may start to see, once you're honest with people about who you are and what you want, you may start to see certain relationships fall out of your life, right? But that is a positive thing in the end, because you have to let relationships that aren't aligned with your energy go in order to allow in the relationships that are aligned for your energy. So yeah, these are some extra cards that came out. We have Queen of Swords reversed. Wheel of Fortune reversed. And then Judgment reverse. Ooh. This is interesting. So Queen of Swords reverses, this is like nurturing negative messages. So you like, again, you may have told yourself a lot of negative messages about yourself. You may have received a lot of negative messages about yourself in the past. This also may literally be about your mother. Like, maybe there's some issues with parentage here that need to be worked out. Like, maybe this is kind of like the trauma that I was been talking about. With the Wheel of Fortune reverse, it's like you're fighting destiny in a way. Yeah, I feel like you're fighting who you're meant to be. This is making me feel like, and this is only for some of you in this group, but take it as it resonates for you, because there's probably going to be a similar situation that does resonate. But like, it's almost like I feel like a parent gave you a lot of negative, like, I'm thinking in terms of LGBTQ right now, but maybe there's a parent that gave you a lot of negative messages about your sexuality. Even if it's just like you had a single mother, like, this is another example, right, of how this can happen. Say you have a single mother who's been really burned by men. You're a man being raised by a single mother who doesn't have a great opinion of men. And you're like, but wait, internally, you're like, but wait, I'm a boy who's going to be a man one day. And you grow up with these kind of opinions and these thought forms about yourself that came from a nurturing figure in your life. And so there's a bit of fighting who you were meant to be, who you came here in this incarnation to be, right? And maybe you've never looked at that, you've never truly looked at that with eyes wide open. Because with the Judgment card reverse here, there is an awakening coming in for you, but it's reversed. So like, there may be, it may be that you're kind of fighting this awakening. So like, this reading is talking about blocks when it comes to love, right? So even the whole thing about, like, let's just say that you're a person who's like, I want to be in a relationship, a monogamous relationship, but I just can't do that. Like, I can't be monogamous. Like, right? Like let's just say that's what it is. Learning about all of these things, right? The negative messages that may have been given to you and all of these things, it's going to help you to get in an energy that will allow you to be in a partnership that's open and honest and monogamous, right? That's just an example. So there is going to be an awakening here, but this awakening is kind of being resisted a little bit right now, because I think that, like, maybe it's hard for you to totally look at the reason why you are the way you are. It's just kind of like, I am the way I am, it's whatever, but there's never been a real true like evaluation of why. It's like, why am I like this, right? And not that the way you are is wrong, right? It's not that the way you are is wrong. But yeah, I think that there should be an evaluation of why you are the way you are. Like, that's what healing is all about. Like, what are my shadows, or things that I think are shadows? Is it just me not loving myself? Is it that I do things that I don't really approve of? Why do I do that? Like, it's really asking questions to get to the bottom of, like, who am I? Why do I act a certain way? And how can I be who I really want to be? Okay, so let's look at what came out here. I feel like a lot. We have the liquor, the bouquet, the mountain, the paths, and the mice. So with the liquor, I feel like there is a lot of trauma here, that's being pushed down. Um, Not necessarily with alcohol, maybe with other means. I mean, sex can definitely be one way of doing that. Um, any kind of drugs can do that. There's so many ways, right? Shopping, we can have a shopping addiction. Um, so, but we also have the bouquet. I feel like this is two sides of a person. Like there are things that you do to shove certain things down and become a placeholder for that thing. And then I feel like you get in another mode where, like I just see a person like giving flowers to somebody, like trying to make up for certain things or trying to, I don't know, it's like, and I feel like with the mountain, it's like this, whatever this is, whatever this trauma is that needs to be that you need to get over is like climbing a mountain. And there's two paths, right? Like I can either go this way or I can go that way. And you're constantly at this fork in the road trying to decide, because I'm not sure like how you treated your relationships is how you really want your relationships to be. I think there's how you want them to be and how you treated them. And then you have the mice here. This is kind of giving me vibes of like children. Mice are also like, I got like scavengers, I guess you could say. They're running around looking for the crumbs. Yeah, maybe like, maybe you're a person who has received crumbs from people or in the past or has given crumbs to people. Like you either don't truly know what it feels like to be loved fully, or you're a person who has a hard time giving that. And I feel like maybe I'm talking to a person who has a hard time truly giving it to other people. You're always giving them crumbs, right? Even if there's kids involved here. Maybe you're not even giving your kids all of you, like your whole self. And the kids thing, that's only going to relate to some of you. But I do feel like there's an aspect of like breadcrumbing here. And I kind of feel like you're the breadcrumber. I kind of feel that way. So yeah, like ask yourself, why I can't ever fully give myself to people? And I think that probably goes back to not being able to be honest about who you truly are, not to yourself and not to other people. So you really have to get at like, what is the block that's stopping me from really being truly being myself and being able to give that to other people? Like what's stopping me from doing that? Because that's the block that's stopping you from finding love. So this is all I have for you, pile number 3. This was deep. I hope you could resonate with this. I hope it wasn't too off the beaten path. Hope you could resonate with this. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I could really use the subscribers. And until next time, bye, pile number 3.